Hey, what's up guys, Kaizen Talk here, and today I decided that I wanted to do a Fish Roblox beginner's guide. I've been seeing a lot of beginner's guides that are good, but I'd like to show you my beginner's guide. Not the ultimate or the best, but the way that I think you should play. So let's get on with it. This is the starter island that everybody starts off on, and your first goal is trying to fish. Now, I remember my first time fishing, I actually couldn't comprehend it. I don't know if it's because I'm just not smart enough, not good at the game, but I thought that fishing in the game was too confusing. I didn't understand how the bar worked. Like, I've talked to a lot of people about it, and it was confusing for the first time. But basically, how the game works is you click the shake, catch the fish, and then you see the control bar. If you let go of the mouse, you don't click, then the bar stays to the left. But then if you click it and hold it, it will go to the right. So you want to keep your bar between this fish. And once the bar at the bottom, the progress bar, fills up, then you catch the fish. So hopefully we can get past that and you can catch your first fish. You'll be in this area for a while, and it's best to grind up to about 2,000 coins. 2,000 coins will get you the carbon rod, which is a very good beginner rod, and I believe you shouldn't buy any of these rods over here. You shouldn't buy the training rod, plastic rod, fast rod, or lucky rod. I believe you should just get the carbon rod and then stick with it until you're level 5. Once you reach level 5, you'll be able to talk to the shipwright character, and what they can do is they can spawn in boats for you. A lot of beginner players make the mistake of just keeping the whole list at the top and saying, oh, the surfboard, you have to be level 7 to get it, so I'm going to purchase a surfboard. It's not something you should do. Surfboard is too slow, and it's just a waste of money. You unlock him by being level 5. So if you scroll all the way down, you can see that there's a rowboat at the bottom, and you can buy it at level 5. This is the first boat you should buy, and it is going to be the best boat for you. You'll stay on the starter island for about maybe 10-20 minutes, but it's not going to take you long to get your carbon rod and the rowboat. But once you get the rowboat, you're going to make your way towards Roslit Bay, which it is a decent spot to fish at. However, you will get one of the best beginner rods that will keep you throughout the game. You're going to be using it for a long time. And this is at least how I wish I played and how most of my playthrough went. I'm going to show y'all how to get to Roslit Bay, and I'm going to use the rowboat just to show y'all like just how to get there with it. But Roslit Bay is a straight shot just from here. You just go forward, and once you ride your boat far enough out from Moosewood, the starter island, you will begin to see all the POIs of every island in the game. You can see Roswell Bay, Forsaken Shores, Sunstone, and I'm not sure if I'll talk about them in this beginner's guide, but maybe if this video gets a lot of good feedback or any feedback at all, I could potentially make a part 2 on some things that I didn't talk about. Over there is a strange whirlpool, and we'll get to that very soon because it's going to be a very crucial part to my guide on how to get money, how to get XP, and how to get the best rods in the game. We've made it to Roslet Bay, and I would personally say you only need to come to this place for one reason, and that is the steady rod. I used the steady rod for almost half of my playthrough almost. As you can see, my steady rod has about 987 catches. I used this for a long time. I used it in Vertigo. I used it in the depths. I used it in the desolate deep, which we'll get to those very shortly because I believe they are crucial places to go in my guide. But the steady rod is going to be a good rod for you. You can get the steady rod right here for 7,000, and it's not going to take too long to grind up for it. You could catch fish here if you believe that catching fish over northeast end of Ancient Isle and you want to get money over there, that's totally fine too. I wouldn't advise it because I think that it's a waste of time to fish there at a beginner stage because there's so much you could be doing. You could be unlocking the depths. You could be fishing in Vertigo to complete the bestiary. You could go to Desolate Deep to try to fill out that bestiary and get the Trident. There's so many other things you could do, but if you believe that you just want to build up money at Ancient Isle to get what you need, then that's fine too. But like I've been saying, this is my guide and how I believe you should be playing the game. And you don't have to follow my guide at all because there's tons of other guides, and I'm not saying mine's the ultimate guide, but mine's the guide that I think that people should do because I believe it's very helpful. I'm going to show you all some of the best spots to fish here. as if you turn on your catch flags, which it's going to be down somewhere right here. I turn it off because it lags a lot. That's one issue about this game, is it lags a lot with capture flags. But capture flags are helpful to see where other people are catching good fish, and this is a good spot to catch fish, and this is a good spot to catch fish. Next, I'm going to talk to you all about Vertigo, which is actually right ahead of us. We're really lucky, and hopefully we can get to it soon. But I believe that people should fill out the Vertigo bestiary as soon as possible. And you can see people are fishing here in order to get the mythical fish, which we'll get to that later too. One thing about the whirlpools is that they're not always around the world. They're not always in the same spots. If you want to find one, you're probably just going to have to ride from almost island to island to find a strange whirlpool. And if you can't find one, just rejoin a server and just go around the whole ocean until you can find a whirlpool with that little essence coming out of it. And then you'll make your way down to Vertigo. Also, another tip from my end, always resort to the Fish wiki. It is very helpful, and I used it throughout all my playthrough. It tells you about the best rods, the best enchants. It has everything you need. It can tell you about all the fish in a certain area, and it's very helpful. Please check it out. The Fish wiki will be in the description of this video. Once you get to this ledge, you can just jump off straight to the water until you get to this little rock in the middle, and you're going to spend a lot of time here because you're going to finish out the Vertigo bestiary, and it's not going to be too hard because you can catch most of these fish with the fishing rod down here. The depths key is one of the easiest exotics to get in the game. I believe it is the easiest exotic to get in the game. It doesn't sell for a lot, but it will help you unlock the door, which is over there, and I'll get to that in a second. What you need to do is fish down here, and you also need to get crab cages. This is where you can get the crab cages. They cost about 45 a piece, and I would only suggest to buy 10. Crab cages will enable you to catch the night shrimp. You cannot catch this with the fishing pole. Just get about 10 of them. There are crab cages in Moosewood, and once you have about 10 of your crab cages, just put them all around this rock, and then you'll see an exclamation point of it catching the night shrimp, and then you open it, and it will have your night shrimp. It might take a while to catch all the fish down here, but it will be extremely worth it because the depths is an amazing money farm. Once you catch all the fish down here with the crab cages included, you'll realize that this fish right here, you weren't able to catch it, and you probably think that it's too rare. Well, it's not. You can only catch this fish in the whirlpool. You're gonna have to fish outside around the whirlpool like all the people we saw here. It is a very difficult catch. Sometimes whenever you go to each whirlpool, you might not even catch one, and the whirlpool might despawn and you'll have to look for another one, but trust me, the grind is worth it. Hopefully whenever you get to this part of the video, you'll have everything you need, so you can just jump all the way up here to open up the depths. The depths, like I've been saying, is the best money farm place for beginners, mid-level players, and even most endgame players because the drop rates for mythical fish and legendary fish are crazy in this area. Once you open up the door, it's going to have a little obby course. It's not too difficult. Just don't stand still because these rocks will fall down. And if you die, then you'll go back to spawn and you'll have to find another strange whirlpool. And don't worry about using the depths key. You won't have to get another key to unlock. You won't have to, like, if you leave the game, you don't have to be afraid about, it not keeping that progress. Don't worry, it will keep the door unlocked for you always. Now we've made it to the depths, which is the best money farm for beginners, mid-level, and even endgame players. You could fish anywhere in this area, and you could make money. You could fish right off this cliff, or you could go to one of my favorite spots, which I'll show you now. This is one of my favorite spots to fish in the depths, and one good thing about this place is that every so often, it's pretty rare, the depths will go very dark, your screen will go dark, and then it will spawn the ancient depth serpent. Once you're able to catch the ancient depth serpent, it's going to say the depths got darker, but you can't just catch it anywhere. You're going to need a fish radar, or potentially if you see other people grouped up in a certain area, that's where the ancient depth serpent is. Your goal for grinding money here is going to be about 150,000. The next rod you're going to get is the Trident rod, which is one of my favorite rods in the entire game due to its passive mechanic the stab mechanic. You may be looking at the Trident Rod's stats and it's not the best. It has 0 resilience, 0 control. It has a very high luck stat and its lure speed is 20, which is totally fine. But it has 2 passives. You have a 30% chance of getting an Atlantean fish, which will also boost the money, and it comes with the stab mechanic. We'll also get to enchants. The Statue of Sovereignty is where you'll enchant your rods. It's extremely close to Sunstone Island and you can see it from Moosewood almost. If you like to enchant your steady rod, then that's fine, but I would keep all the enchants you get so you could get the Trident rod. In front of us, this is where you'll enchant your rods. But you have to pull out your enchant relic and have the rod that you want to be enchanted equipped. It has to be nighttime in order to enchant your rod. You're going to be in this area for a while, as 150,000 isn't quick and easy to get here. It might take you 3 hours. It might take you a while, but 150,000 is your goal. You're also going to need 5 enchant relics, which are extremely easy to catch here. You could buy them at Sunstone Island for 11,000 apiece, but I would highly not advise that because you can catch relics extremely easy here. Once you gain 150,000 and 5 relics, we're going to make our way to the Desolate Deep. Another thing, if you feel like you want to get another boat, which I would suggest, you could stay here for a little bit longer and try to buy any boat. One boat that I would recommend that you can get fairly early is the speedboat. If you're at this point in the video, then hopefully you have 150,000 and the 5 enchant relics that's needed to get the Trident Rod. I'm going to show you all how to get to the Desolate Deep from Moosewood. Here we go. You're going to want to ride your boat in between the Statue of Sovereignty and Sunstone Island. And just keep riding out until you see this rock, and then you're going to want to turn left just a little bit until you see this buoy. On this buoy is advanced diving gear. Plenty of YouTubers would say that you don't need it in order to swim down to the Desolate Deep, which is true, but I would suggest you be able to have enough money to buy it for later to get the Rod of the Depths. From here, I'm going to show you all how to get down towards the Desolate Deep. Once you see this sign, you want to take a right down towards this way. Watch out for the bombs. Once you make it up, you have now made it to the Desolate Deep. From here, you're going to also complete the bestiary for the Desolate Deep. All these fish you can catch with a fishing pole, except for the sea mine. The sea mine, you have to have crab cages. Be prepared to spend a lot of money because I spent over almost 200,000 in coins for crab cages in order to get the sea mine. It is an extremely rare drop. There are 2 ways to get the Trident. You can complete the Desolate Deep bestiary in order to unlock the door, or you can have a friend that you give the 5 enchant relics to, and they'll open the door for you. Once you complete the bestiary, or you get your friend that can open the door for you. One tip that I would suggest if you plan on leaving the game and coming back is setting your spawn base to the Desolate Deep, because you don't always want to make that ride back and forth from Moosewood to the Desolate Deep. Right here is the innkeeper, and you pay them 35 coins in order to keep your base here permanently. If you ever want to get back up to the main island, just click on this mirror and you'll teleport to Sunstone Island. From here, I'm going to show you all where to get the Trident. Just jump off here, and then you want to swim all the way over here. Swim down here. It's a pretty tight spot. Once you're here, you're going to put your 5 enchant relics on each pedestal, or if your friend who already has the bestiary for this area completed, they'll put the 5 enchant relics on each pedestal, and then they'll open the door for you, and then you'll be able to buy the Trident Rod. This concludes my beginner's guide, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I hope this helps out a lot of beginners. And make sure to look at other people's ultimate guides in order for more insight, just in case if you don't like mine. I may make a part 2, depending on the feedback from this video. So, see ya!